Hi, so this is Pamela from Animal Justice Agency, and I just wanted to give you a quick update on the Animals Cafe idea that I was talking about the last time I was here. So that, not surprisingly, there have been challenges, and kind of one of the things that I thought I'd like to share is, yeah, obviously, challenges are really just part of what happens with any kind of like project, especially a new one. And it's like, relatively easy to come up with an idea and then talk to people about it, and you're excited, and then they kind of get excited. But then what's the reality that happens after that? So this is what the video is going to be about. It's going to be about the challenges and some of the thoughts I've had about how to deal with them. So I'm Pamela, as some of you know, from Animal Justice Emergency. And if you like this video, please don't forget to like and subscribe and share. So the issue with the Animal Cafe, and that is the concept of having a sort of a local hub, which is using the climate change conversation as a way of promoting a really strong vegan message using food in a sort of a local community hub venue, which a lot of people seem to think is a great idea. And the feedback when I talked to people a couple of weeks ago was like, oh, yeah, right. So I've talked to people with a potential venue and they loved it. Talked to somebody who thought they might be able to help with some funding, and they said, oh, yes, no problem. And was in the process of trying to have some chats with a cook. And just a side note here that cooks, I found in my short experience, seem to be the rainbow sparkle unicorns of the vegan world, because crumbs, how do you find them? And how do you get that special cook or caterer, or chef, whatever they want to call themselves? Um, how do you get to speak to them? Because that's the main challenge I'm facing at the moment. So, had all these sort of chats with everybody and some messaging with the cooks. But then what happened with the venues, I'm thinking, that doesn't seem to be very tied down. That all seems to be a little bit fuzzy. And indeed, it was fuzzy because I hadn't concretized it. And that's the thing at the beginning of a project. What you find is you're sort of like you're juggling these different sort of like elements. And it's kind of the challenge initially is to get those elements actually concrete. So I felt that the venue was obviously one, but also the money, the potential grant that had been sort of spoken about. What was going to happen with that? Because I don't want to talk to people about getting involved if there's a potential offer of money, but it's not actually physically on the table. It just seems like, oh, that's not very great for anybody. So I'm chasing up that person as well, who's very busy, and that tra la 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 la. So then there's the cooks. The cooks, that is obviously a key thing. I don't know what they call themselves. As I said, whether you're a cook or chef or whatever, they all seem to be like very, very busy. Everybody's very, very, very busy. And so having the conversation with them is like impossible so far. Hmm. So what am I doing about that? Well, I'm getting in touch with some other networked up people, my local health food shop, who are putting out a call out for more cooks. I'm going to try to go directly to the funder rather than with this person who knows the funder to speak about the funds. And with the venue, I think I'm going to have to talk to a sort of like something like a church hall to sort of like have a backup, which is all, fair enough, and just trundle it along. Um, so the other thing that's been striking me is the kind of gaping chasm between the people that were involved in climate breakdown and activism. And there's a lot of stuff going on around the whole COP activism that's going to be taking place in November or later on this month. There's tons and tons of stuff there. And they are practically to a person not mentioning animal ag. animal death industry. And then when you go onto the other side of things, like um, vegan activism, there seems to be a startling, as I've said before, kind of like nobody's talking about catastrophic climate breakdown. However, in a way, I'm trying to bridge that gap, and let's see how successful or otherwise that will be. So, part of the way of bridging that gap, since there's some activity going on, there's going to be a local vegan market in my town this Saturday. So I thought, and this vegan market actually has specifically banned animal activists from having stalls. Good grief. It's unbelievable, isn't it? Anyway, since it's an outdoor venue, I'm now thinking, how about if I print out some flyers about this project, about the Animal Cafe project, and distribute them there? I mean, what are they going to do? You know, and also it'll be an opportunity to talk to the people. There will definitely be people with producing vegan food. Maybe drop them a flyer, have a bit of a chit chat. Let's see if they're not too busy, or just get some cards and see if we can follow up on that one. So that's the thing I thought about that. And then I thought, well, there's also some climate change stuff, activism happening within the next couple of weeks. Then I thought, well, I could use the same flyers to take to those events and again see if anybody is interested and if anybody wants to get involved at the same time as all the other stuff that I'm doing. So I think the other thing when you're doing this sort of a project, or any kind of a project really, um, is it's like maintaining your motivation, and that's so challenging sometimes, especially when you kind of get that whole pile of, I've been really worried about climate change stuff specifically because of things like the rise in fuel prices, which sounds really, really scary. Talk of blackouts and power cuts and stuff like that, which I've actually experienced in other countries and actually a long time ago, which is also concerning. So that's something that is somewhat preying on my mind. Then, local here with the cats, I had a big scare a couple of weeks ago, which involved them having an overnight stay in an animal hospital. I mean, luckily they're both okay, but it's all been kind of like quite sort of stressful, and trying to maintain the motivation has been a challenge. So if anybody else is going through stressy kind of anything really, yeah, it's difficult. And sometimes, yeah, sometimes you're up in the air and everything feels great, and sometimes everything feels really rather not great. So one little in front of the other. So that's it. I just want to keep you updated, like I said, and hopefully let's see how it all goes, and then I can report back, or maybe do one of the other videos about the climate washing by the animal death industry, which I've done lots of research on, but haven't actually filmed yet. So that's it. A quick one for today. You take care. Have a pleasant day, and thank you for your time and attention. All the best.